Vin, it's another VinVin's bedtime adventure story. This one is called VinVin at Watermouth Castle, the Listening Ear Quest. Written by Daddy. Read by Daddy. It was another cosy evening. VinVin lay in bed with Snaky Snake curled snugly around his neck like usual. Outside, the stars twinkled and the moon shone through the curtains. "Ready for another adventure?" Snaky whispered. VinVin nodded with a grin.
Always.
With a swirl of colour, the room transformed. Walls faded into turrets, and the bed vanished beneath him. And suddenly, they were standing at the grand entrance of a castle. Nearby, the sound of a band could be heard. Vin and Snaky peeked around the corner to see robots playing upbeat folk music.
Watermouth Castle.
VinVin exclaimed.
I've been here before.
"Yeah," said Snaky. "There are long snake slides here that look like me." Vin and Snaky watched the band play for a moment longer before turning to continue their adventure into the castle. As Vin stepped deeper inside, a mannequin turned its head. Then another slowly waved its hand. Vin froze.
Oh, Snaky.
He said nervously.
Too scared.
"Yeah, look, there's loads moving and they're coming right towards us," said Snaky, recoiling.
Make it stop.
Cried Vin, putting his hands up to his face. "It's that naughty witch again," hissed Snaky. "Helga," VinVin called out.
Shark Wizard needs you.
With a dazzling splash, Shark Wizard appeared, sparkling cloak billowing and his wand glowing blue. "That naughty witch has been at it again, I see, messing up the mannequin display," Shark Wizard grumbled. He then sent a spray of seawater her way, which made her run off with a shriek. "Time to tidy up," he said, waving his wand. "Mannequins be quiet, mannequins be still. Go back to being dummies, 'cause you ain't that real." With a zap, the mannequins froze mid-motion, lifeless once more.
Thanks.
VinVin said, giving a thumbs up. "Be careful as you go now, VinVin. Witches don't like water, so she should stay away," said Shark Wizard, giving Vin a wink before disappearing into another puddle of water. VinVin and Snaky continued through the castle, viewing all the displays as they went. Helga the naughty witch was even part of a display in the dungeon, but like the mannequins, she was now frozen still too. Soon they arrived outside at the gnome village. Dozens of gnomes were around, appearing to work, but for some reason they wouldn't acknowledge him.
Hello.
Vin called.
Anyone?
But the gnomes continued as if they hadn't heard him. A soft fluttering sound came from above. A little fairy hovered down with pink sparkles in her wings.
Holiday.
Vin shouted. It was his big sister, in fairy form.
"The gnomes have lost their listening ears,"
Serenity explained.
"You'll need to find them around the park. A naughty witch has cast her magic, and now the gnomes can't hear anybody."
Vin took a deep breath and nodded.
We will help.
But Snaky looked around and said, "Where are we going to start to, VinVin? This place is huge,"
I got an idea.
said the chirpy toddler, and pointed towards the log flume. Vin was of course correct. As they queued for the log flume, it became apparent that one of the lost ears was nestled in a bee's nest, halfway around the log flume ride. As they climbed aboard the rubber-ringed boat, they floated downstream. Bees buzzed and mosquitoes mumbled. Vin and Snaky were scared, but as they approached the nest with the ear, Vin dangled Snaky overboard, and Snaky snatched the ear just in time as water sprayed at them and got them drenched. The bees didn't seem to have noticed, so the pair sat back in the ring, giggling as the log flume ride came to an end. As they came off the ride, Snaky spotted the next glistening gnome ear. There it hung in all its glory, at the top of the spinning aeroplane ride. "There's the next one, Vin. Look," said Snaky, nudging his head in the direction. Vin rushed over. "Hey up, sorry there, buddy, this ride's closed," said a man nearby.
Oh, why?
Asked Vin, flustered, keeping an eye on the dangling ear. The man pointed. "It won't move. It's too heavy for the ride," explained the man. Vin looked, and there, sat in a plane looking grumpy, was Monkey Toad.
Oh, Monkey Toad, not you again.
Shouted Vin. A grumpy Monkey Toad sat slouched in the cockpit, arms folded. "Hop it," Snaky hissed, but the toad remained stubborn. "I'll only move for flies," Monkey Toad grumbled. "I'm starving. I've only had 16 bananas today," said the smelly beast as he let out a little fart. Vin flapped his arms to his side and looked around and said,
I got you.
He then grabbed a net and raced to the swan boat ride. There he fished his net into the pond and around the lily pads to pull out all the little glowing flies. He soon returned to Monkey Toad, tossing them at him. Delicious. Monkey Toad gulped the snacks, then hopped off dramatically, farting as he bounced off to be a menace elsewhere.
Oh, thanks.
Vin muttered, climbing aboard one of the planes and zooming up to grab the next ear from on high. 2 down, 1 to go, hurraed Snaky. Exhausted, Vin flopped down onto a bench. Let's recharge, Snaky said. Look, a fudge shop. And he nodded towards a lady holding a tray of samples. They soon shared a few cubes of delicious fudge. Then suddenly, puff of smoke and a cackle. Mola the Tooth Goblin had once again appeared. Sugar, sugar, has given me a nudge. So here I am, 'cause you've eaten fudge. Vin instantly jumped to his feet and ran. Mola gave chase. He and Snaky jumped aboard a nearby old horse carousel and tossed a coin in the old slot. Mola jumped on the horse behind as it spun, but didn't last too long before he felt too dizzy and gave up the chase. Spinning, spinning makes me dizzy, so Mola gives up. This isn't for me. And with that, he disappeared as fast as he came. Vin and Snaky giggled about how silly Mola was as they climbed off the carousel, looking off into the distance. There it was, the final ear. It gleamed at the top of the toboggan ride.
Let's do this.
Vin grinned as he arranged Snaky tightly around his neck and ran towards the ride. There they sat in the cart, rising steeply up a hill, one eye on the track ahead and one eye on the precious final ear. They reached the top. It was about to get fast. Snaky prepped himself, ready for action. Vin tightened his grip on the handles and pushed the brake pedal softly to test it. Then they shot down the slide, wind in their face.
Rabbit, Snaky.
Howled Vin, and snatch! Snaky got it again on the first try. They had all 3 ears now and were heading back to the gnome village. Once back, Vin placed all 3 ears on a mushroom stump. The gnomes, still oblivious, continued their work.
Shark Wizard.
Vin called again. With another splash, Shark Wizard appeared, ready to perform another magical spell. Listening ears on. Aid, what's wrong? Let these gnome folks hear my song. With the words spoken, the ears rose into the sky, combining. There was a magical flash, and more ears emerged, whooshing here and there, landing on each working gnome. And as each gnome found his listening ears again, their focus came back, and they stopped and realized what had been going on. The gnomes blinked, looked around, and cheered. One gnome waddled forward and handed VinVin a glowing gold coin. This is for your bravery, he said as he awarded it to Vin. Suddenly, Boom! Thunder shook the sky. "That's our sign," said Snaky. "Time to go, VinVin." Vin looked at the coin in his palm. It shined so bright it made him squint, and the next thing he knew, he was back in bed with Snaky, with the sun beaming brightly through the open curtains. His mummy and daddy were looking down adoringly at their waking, intelligent, bright toddler boy as he gave a stretch to start the day.
"What you got there, baby?"
said Mummy. As Vin looked in his palm, he grasped a shiny coin. Vin looked at Snaky, and Snaky winked back. The end.